What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be discussing whether you should pull for the second half of 2.7, which is Fugue and Firefly, or whether you should save your pulls for 3.0 when other characters that come out then, which is Herta and then also Aglaea. We don't have specific information for reruns just yet. However, we are going to do a little bit of speculation in today's video. I'm also going to give you my take and my personal opinion on whether you should be pulling for these type of characters or any character in particular. We have a lot to talk about in today's video, but I want to share something with you guys before we do that. If you're anything like me, you spend hours a day sitting at a desk while you play games or while you work, or in my case, when I edit content or make videos. Also, if you're anything like me, you get really bad back pains while you're also sitting down and you don't know where it's coming from. Well, surprise, surprise, it's coming from your chair. Your chair sucks. And having a good ergonomic chair is key to reducing those back pains by quite a lot. This is where our friends over at FlexiSpot come into play. We've had them on the channel before with their really cool stand-up desk, but this time I want to talk to you about their chairs, especially their OC6 ergonomic chair. This is a very slick looking chair, very sturdy frame. It looks very high quality. Honestly, it took me about 15 minutes to assemble. It is very sturdy and can hold up to 500 pounds. It has customizable lumbar support, adjustable headrest, almost full horizontal tilt, which means you can just lay it back and you can pretty much sleep on the chair, and adjustable height. As someone with chronic back pains due to injuries, I can say that since using this chair, my quality of life when I'm working has dramatically improved. I can now work or edit or game for however long I want to or I need to without feeling all the discomfort I used to get from regular traditional chairs. So please check out friends over at FlexiSpot. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. They have all sorts of different desks, different colors, different chairs with different colors, as well as other office or home products. Once again, I want to give a huge thanks to our friends over at FlexiSpot for being a friend of the channel. Now back to the video. In the second half of 2.7, we are to get the character Fugue, which is a super break support, alongside with the first Firefly rerun. Both characters go hand in hand really well together, and they are both really good pickups. We just discussed them in a video similar to this one, I think about a month ago. So if you want to know more in depth of what I'm going to talk about when it comes to Fugue and Firefly, go ahead and click the link or click the video up here somewhere. I'll link it, and then you'll be able to hear all my thoughts about those two characters. I will be touching on them a little bit in today's video. However, I'm not going to go super in depth because pretty much my opinion hasn't changed pretty much at all. And if you are not a late game player, I think you should consider pulling Firefly or Fugue or both. However, 3.0 is looking to be one of the more exciting patches when it comes to character releases. We have a new path, the Path of Remembrance, releasing with Aglaea in the second half, and she is looking very strong, as well as the Herta, the actual Herta. We're going to get her in the first half, and she is looking like a fantastic DPS as well. Like I said before, we don't have specific information on reruns, but we are going to speculate towards the end of the video which characters should be right around the corner of rerunning. To talk about Fugue really quickly, she brings a new mechanic, as I said in my previous video, the Exo Toughness. It's a direct buff to characters like Boothill, Firefly, especially Rappa and Boothill. Jue Yi gets a huge buff here as well. Himiko, any character that gets anything from breaking the enemies gets a direct and very significant buff. Personally, Fugue is one of the characters that I am the most excited about. I want her E2 because I have a very specific setup in mind for my Fugue, and is going to go fantastically well with my E1 Boothill. So obviously expect some sort of video when it comes to that. Fugue not only buffs Super Break and Break teams, but she also gives Acheron a little bit of a buff and gives a little tech to Acheron teams that do not have Jiao Shao. Or even if you do have Jiao Shao, you can add that extra tech in there if you have her before or less than E2. So Fugue is a little bit versatile. Like if you have her E1, she's completely versatile. Her E1 with Ruan Mei, it just makes any character just completely decimate any content. Pretty much they can make him a colorless breaker, as I mentioned in my previous Fugue video. Overall, she is fantastic. Anybody who wants to pick her up, because Super Break is going to be that type of playstyle that is, it's forever going to be a part of the game, because it's a core main mechanic of the game that they're never going to take out. They may release a boss that like locks his break, but they're never going to completely remove it. Okay, so they're never going to be completely useless. The same in my previous video, I'm going to give Fugue a summon score of 7 out of 10, but it's kind of average. So if you have, or if you want to improve your break or super break team, or if you want to build your break or super break team, then Fugue is a 9 out of 10. However, if you don't want anything to do with break, then her score kind of drops to about a 4 out of 10. That's why I said the overall was a 7 out of 10. All right, next up is Firefly, her first rerun. Hoyo is looking to cash out in this 2.7 right before 3.0. Firefly is a fantastic DPS, as I previously discussed in the video that I did a month ago. Again, check the link in the description if you want more in-depth discussion when it comes to Firefly and Fugue. There's really not much else to say when it comes to Firefly. Between her, Boothill, and Rappa are just 3 premier break and super break characters that we have in the game, and they're all incredibly strong, especially if you're going for Eidolons on Firefly. Mine's E2, and it's one of the best investments that I've made in my account. I literally don't have to worry about one of the sides, and then my Acheron covers the second side. So I'm pretty much in cruise control at this point. So yeah, Firefly is insane. If you invest in her, you actually don't have to invest too much in her to get her to work. I remember when I first pulled her E0 S0, because I still don't have her light cone, by the way. I have her E2, I don't have a light cone. But when I first pulled her, like, I did 750k on a very scuffed build because I didn't really have a lot of good luck farming the new set when it first came out. So needless to say, Firefly is a fantastic pickup, but again, it all depends if you want to build on the super break or break team. If you are, then it's an 8 out of 10 pickup if you ask me. If you're not, then obviously, then why even bother mentioning what the summon score is if you're not interested in break teams. Again, Firefly summon score of 8 out of 10. All right, now we get into the good stuff. The Herta is looking to be a very strong DPS, one of the very few DPSs that can function extremely well, deal millions of damage without a traditional Harmony character on the team, if it makes sense. She's very similar to Acheron in the sense that by adding a second erudition character on the team, she gets buffs that kind of resemble a Harmony character. So essentially that second erudition character fills in for the Harmony, which is insane if you ask me. Also, with the addition of Remembrance MC and a very good sustain like Huahua, which has been gaining massive stonks lately in the energy meta, or even if you have Aventurine or Linksha, which are all very beneficial characters for the Herta, you have access to a very strong team. In Herta, whatever erudition character you can pick, you Serval, you can do a dummy Herta, you can do Himeko, whichever. You have those two, then you have the sustain like Huahua, Linksha, or Aventurine. The reason why they both work is because obviously Huahua with the energy gain, and then Linksha and Aventurine hit everybody on the field, giving Herta extra stacks. Either way you want to do it, it works really well with the Herta. And then finally we have Remembrance MC, which is also fulfilling kind of a pseudo Harmony role in that team per se. That particular team with very low monetary investment or Eidolons or light cones or whatever can 2 to 4 cycle currently, I think, or would be my prediction, which is fantastic when you consider the low amount of investment that I just mentioned. Like, you only need the Herta and then one of the sustains, which you probably already have, and then you get Remembrance MC for free, and then another erudition character to help Herta stack. And that'll get you a 2 to 4 cycle if you have them decently built. Aside from that, her animations are looking like some of the best animations we've seen. She's right up there with Fu Xuan in my opinion when it comes to the ultimate. But this is where I start going a little bit sideways when it comes to Herta and Aglaea, or Aglaea for that matter. Herta and Aglaea are very strong characters, but they are very strong characters for the standards of the current meta. So if you measure them next to all the DPS characters we have right now, then yes, they are very strong, and they look very strong, and they feel very strong because they are for the current meta. However, I don't think they were really built for this meta in particular. I think they are like a stepping stone into the next meta that we're going to be getting with the rest of the 3.0 cast, with Casterus and all those people. I think the real heavy hitters are going to be back there in 3.1, 3.2. These are just introductory DPS characters for this current meta. If we take a look at the introductory characters we had in 1.0, or on release, which is Jinyuan and Seele. It took almost a year for Jinyuan to be like good again, and then Seele's always been good, but she got power crept really early on, the same as Jinyuan. Jinyuan released power crept. Sorry if I offend any of the Jinyuan mains, but that's just the truth. And also by virtue of them being DPSs, you already know they're already going to get power crept before any of the other supports or nihilities or anything like that. Going back to Herta, her being a DPS and from arguably the most unimpressive path we have thus far, which is the erudition, it's actually not a great look for her, and her pull value kind of goes down in my opinion when you take into consideration a little bit of foresight that the game will continue to evolve and more harder fights are going to show up, and you're going to need just more damage or just better DPSs overall, which in my opinion, I believe that they're going to be 3.1, 3.2 characters, the same way Acheron came in and just like demolished the meta. For all those reasons that I just laid out, I think the summon score goes as follows. If you like Herta's animations, you like her as a character, you like the lore, you like the playstyle, and you're not really too concerned with power creep, you like her for the fun factor, kind of like me. Like if you're like me, kind of, then Herta is a great pickup. You're gonna have tons of fun. You're gonna clear everything, and if you have her really well built, you're going to be 0 cycling or 1 to 2 cycling. So for a person like me who was there for the fun factor, and I'm not really too concerned about power creep because, you know, at least for me as a content creator, I try to get every single character. To me, she has a value of about a 7 out of 10. And this is purely subjective. This is purely for fun factor and as a content creator. So if you are in the same boat, that if you're not really concerned with meta, you're not really concerned with clearing, she's about a 7 out of 10 in my opinion. However, if you're one of those people who are building for a better account in the future, if you're a low spender or a free to play and you need to strategize your pulls to the T, because you know you can go broke in just one banner. You know, you can just empty your stash in one banner and not get anything. So if you are one of those people that have to strategize your pulls, so unfortunately I don't think Herta has that much value for you, because I truly believe that in 3.1 or 3.2 there's going to be another DPS character that's going to just like overshadow Herta and Aglaea. Both of them are in the same boat, actually. They're going to get completely overshadowed by a new character that's going to come out in either 3.1 or 3.2. Like, mark my words, if I'm wrong, I'm giving y'all a copy of said character, okay? If that character is not better than Herta and Aglaea, I'm going to give somebody a copy of that character, okay? I said it today. But if you're in that boat that you have to prepare for the future and you have to pull for value in your account, then unfortunately, Herta drops to about a 5, give or take 5 out of 10 in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, Herta is a fantastic DPS, and for the first 2-3 next patches, you are going to be able to clear pretty reliably, pretty consistently. I think throughout the entirety of the game, you're going to be able to clear. However, you are going to feel like the power creep the same way we've been feeling it these past couple of patches, these past couple of MOCs and Pure Fictions and Apocalyptic Shadows. People have been feeling the power creep. So I think that because Herta and Aglaea are the first characters in 3.0, they're the first characters that are going to suffer from this, and their value is just going to drop, in my opinion. What I don't want is to recommend this character, because as of right now, if she comes out right now and there's no other updates in sight, then she is in the top. Like, she is one of the top damage dealers we have in the game right now, or we would have in the game right now, but is going to be a Jingliu all over again. Jingliu came along and she was clearing everything from the, like, she was just demolishing the game, and then everybody was like, okay, yeah, she's the best DPS in the game, and then 2 patches later she's gone. Like, she's nowhere to be found, not good anymore. Like, I have a friend that he has an E2 S1 Jingliu, and he was so mad that he got E2 S1 Jingliu, and now he can't even clear with the Jingliu. Like, he can only clear on certain stages. Like, it's crazy how much she got like fucked over, but it is what it is. It's the nature of these games. So yeah, I don't want to recommend getting you the Herta and then it being a regretful pick later on in the future when a better character comes out in 3.1 or 3.0 or 3.2, I'm sorry. And like I said before, Aglaea is pretty much on the same boat as Herta. She is fantastic. She does a lot of damage. She is the fastest character in the game by far. So for Apocalyptic Shadow, she is one of the better characters to have. She's also the very first limited remembrance path character that we get in the game. But right there is where my problems start with Aglaea. Because she is the first remembrance path character we get, I am afraid that that Hoyo might just throw her on the standard banner eventually. Like, not right now, maybe not in 1 patch or 2 patches, but eventually she's going to end up in the standard pull banner, and most of us, a lot of us, are going to lose 50-50s to Aglaea, and we are going to be very disappointed in doing that. Obviously, none of this is confirmed, none of this is real, so this is all speculatory, so it may never happen ever. Aglaea may never go into the standard banner. However, Hoyo has precedent when it comes to this, because Tainari, I think it is, the green bow and arrow Dendro character from Genshin, they slapped him on the standard banner, and he was the first Dendro character. So who's to say that they're not going to do the same thing with Aglaea? her being the first remembrance. In good faith, I cannot like recommend just people just blindly pulling for Aglaea, because they may just slap her and then people are going to start losing 50-50s to Aglaea and be upset about it. So that's where my head is at the moment. And that is not the only thing that's kind of iffy about Aglaea. She's also a lightning character, and Acheron is pretty much the premier lightning character at the moment. And also Jing Yuan just got a massive buff with Sunday. So both Acheron and Jing Yuan just got a massive buff with Sunday. And they're both pretty much living their best lives now. They're both in their best teams. It's all like peaches and cream with them. And they are clearing the content pretty reliably as well. So you don't really need another lightning DPS if you already have an Acheron that works, that's really well built, or a Jing Yuan that works and is also very well built. Now, as far as her summon score, for people who are looking for overall value for their account, it's pretty much the same predicament that the Herta is in. She is a DPS character, is likely to get power crept before anything else. But if you are a new player and you don't have anything else, like you don't have Acheron, you don't have Jing Yuan, Arlan doesn't really work, Serval is kind of so if you don't have any other lightning character, and this is, you know, you're pretty much new to the game or newer to the game, Aglaea is probably going to be a really good pick for you. And if you don't have any other lightning options, then she is about a 7 out of 10 value for people like that. Again, if you are one of those people that needs to strategize their pulls, in good conscience, even though she seems cool, she looks amazing, I can't in good conscience recommend pulling for a character that I know for not for a fact, but I know pretty heavily, like I'm pretty certain, like I'm 99% certain is going to get power crept in a patch or two because of another remembrance character that's going to come out and is going to just demolish the meta. So if you are on that boat, if you just need to strategize your pulls very effectively, I'm going to give her a 5 out of 10. You also have the Fade collab coming early next year or sometime next year, which also may bring some busted unit that it's also going to power creep one of these units. So we have a lot to look forward to. And in good conscience, I can't recommend giving more than a 7 out of 10 for fun factor and 5 out of 10 for it may be even a 4 out of 10 for actual value for an account. All right, one last thing I want to touch on is the rerun characters. So currently we are in a very precarious situation. So we have a few characters that have not rerun pretty much since 1.0. So Zila and Dr. Ratio, if you notice right here, Zila has been pretty much since 1.4. She has not rerun. And then Dr. Ratio, ever since he released, he has not rerun one. So naturally, the speculation would be that one of those characters is going to be in 3.0 because they are the characters that have not rerun pretty much at all since pretty much the first version of the game. Actually, no, we have Silverwolf as well. So Silverwolf is another character that has not rerun pretty much since 1.5. Yeah, ever since 1.5, she has not rerun. So we have Zila, Silverwolf, and Dr. Ratio, which are three characters that have not rerun at all since pretty much 1.0. From those three characters, I think Dr. Ratio is the one that holds the most value currently, and it's because the follow-up attack meta is very, very strong, and Dr. Ratio still has a place in that team. Silverwolf has just been completely outclassed by characters that implant their own weakness, or by Jiao Xiao, Pella. Like, people just decide to use those other characters because they're more universal and they do something else other than implant a weakness or a random weakness, which you have to pretty much tilt your whole team around. So Silverwolf, when she came out, she was very, very strong, but now she's a little bit fallen off. Funny enough, Silverwolf and Dr. Ratio are pretty much best friends. They love being together in the same team. So there is that. So out of those three characters, I'd say Dr. Ratio is the one that has the most value. And for him, I'd say he's also kind of like a 6 out of 10. All right, two other characters that should be close to rerunning is going to be Blade. If you see my homie Blade, oh, actually, Blade is another character from 1.0 that hasn't rerun yet. And I know I have somebody in the comments who's always commenting about Blade's rerun. And hopefully in 3.0, when we have an HP scaling character that benefits other HP scaling characters, hopefully Blade makes a good return. He's my second favorite character in the game. So praying for our homie Blade for him to make a rerun in the 3.0. Not this next patch, but probably 3.1 or 3.2. I'm expecting Blade. The same thing with Fushuan. I think Fushuan and Blade are probably in the same boat. Like, they're probably going to rerun close to each other. And then Jingliu, I don't know. Maybe this is a good time to rerun Jingliu because of Herta is also ice. So you kind of like pick the better ice character. But honestly, I think with Herta, and this is my speculation right now, I think Jade is going to be the one that's going to rerun with Herta, and it's because they work so well together. And we all know Hoyo's going for our wallets, so I think if they rerun Jade with Herta, they have a really, really good 1-2 punch that they can target the players to summon for. Another character that should be nearing his rerun is going to be Boothill. Our boy Boothill didn't get a rerun. It's been 6 patches without a rerun of Boothill, even though Robin got the fastest rerun out of any character ever. And that just says a lot about the Robin community. Like, people love Robin. I hate her with my guts, but she got a 2-patch rerun, which is insane. And our boy Boothill left in the dust, best DPS in the game, left in the dust, 6 patches, no rerun. But if you pay attention to pretty much Honkai Star Rail's trend, after the 3rd patch, they tend to rerun the characters at least once. The only character that has not done this has been Dr. Ratio. Every other character has rerun on or around the 3rd patch. Black Swan is probably one of them that hasn't, and also Acheron, but it's because they were all trying to rerun Acheron. They were trying to do the 4 or 6 unit rerun thing that they did a few months ago when Fei Zhao came out. Yeah, but if I were to take a guess of who are going to be the 2 reruns, I think Jade is going to rerun in 3.0, and I think Dr. Ratio is also going to rerun in 3.0. I think those are going to be my picks. I don't think Fu Xuan is going to be it, and I don't think Ruan Mei is going to be it either. Maybe Argenti. Argenti may actually rerun too, because Argenti and Herta work really well together as well. So my picks are going to be Jade or Argenti running with Herta, and then I think Dr. Ratio is going to rerun with Aglaea. And the reason I say that is because Dr. Ratio has that Greek kind of outfit, that Greek vibe, the same as Aglaea. So that's the only reason, and because he hasn't rerun at all. He's the only character that has never rerun. So that is going to be the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What are you guys pulling for in 3.0? What are you saving for? Put it in the comments. And until next time, guys, see ya.